Space Marine 2 has so much more potential. I discovered Warhammer upon Space Marine 2 a few days after launch. Since then, I've been in love with Warhammer and the game, but truly, there is so much more potential than what the game offers. The campaign and the ops are phenomenal, and Siege mode is amazing, which is mostly what I play now. Max Bulwark main. Okay, that's very, very good. But I just feel like there is so much more stuff they could be adding. New weapons, new enemies, even some new executions, which I think are... Didn't they say something about executions recently? I feel like they could really amplify the experience even more. Amazing game, one of my tops for sure, but dang it, it could be so much cooler. All right, this is an interesting way to look at it. I like their energy. I think this is fair. I do agree. We definitely should have a couple more weapons. Dude, I really want to see Stormbolters, but it's like, we already had so many pistols added to the game. We're probably not going to get those. Or the claws. Claws, obviously, really cool. Capes, more capes for more classes, I think would be cool. But yes, overall, I agree with this. As far as the potential, as far as, what we actually received so far has been amazing, I think. At least when the game is working. Obviously, connection issues here and there. The campaign was pretty good. Operations, I think the operations they added... Dude, I have to be honest. I like the operations we have right now. We have a pretty good selection. But I'm definitely interested to see when they are going to add in a new operation. I am very curious to see what that operation could hold as well. Because as far as like what's been going on in the storyline or in the background for operations, I feel like these next few operations are going to feel very intense. So we will see. We will see. But yeah, overall, when it comes to the potential and the future of Space Marine 2, I kind of want to relay the question to you guys to see how you feel about the future of this game. I am definitely optimistic, 100%. I think the future of this game can not only does Space Marine 3 have a very promising future, I think, but honestly, Year 2 can be very, very interesting. We haven't seen them confirm too much about Year 2, and we're starting it off with a Black Templar Bulwark. We have a Hellbrute mode. I am I'm very positive about the future of this game. That said, obviously, we have been dealing with some connection issues. And if you look at the past of Space Marine 2 so far, if you look at what's been added, we do have some really good content. The game is much better since launch. However, there have definitely been some issues that I think the devs have been trying to solve that feel like it definitely holds the game back. Whether it was spore mines at one point, whether it was broken parries, whether it was connection issues, stun locks, you name it, biovores, you name it. There's been a lot of annoying stuff. I think we've honestly been past the worst, hopefully, but who knows when it comes to what could be broken on the next patch. Hopefully nothing. But yeah, overall, I think patch 9 did a lot that was good for the game. So when we're talking about the future of the game, I am in a very optimistic mood for it. I definitely can see the future of this game being a lot better for Year 2. So wanted to relay the question to you guys. Were you satisfied with Year 1 Space Marine? And what do you want to look for Year 2? Do you have a positive view of the future of this game? Yeah, this game was never supposed to be as huge as it got. I don't think anyone at Saber Games Workshop was expecting almost 8 million units sold. Yeah, that's... Last I heard it was 7 million, but yeah, almost 8 million would be pretty fair. Not to mention there's going to be deals and everything like that. So... That's very true, by the way. Like, I keep seeing articles of Games Workshop saying, like, Space Marine 2 was one of their most successful products, if not the most successful. So I'm definitely hoping they take a step up in the next game. I think Year 2, though, and not to mention, in that article, they mentioned something about Year 3, which I just don't... I don't know. We will see. If Year 3 is even possible, we will see when we get closer to that. But for now, let's worry about Year 2, right? Yeah, when it comes to the future of this game, I'm definitely very excited for what they could add to it. If Games Workshop was, surprised and impressed with the success of it, I would be very surprised if Games Workshop kind of just, they don't try to expand that or, extend the success of Space Marine 2 as far as they can. So Year 3 could be possible. Who knows? But ultimately, yeah, the units sold speaks for themselves. I think they're doing their best with the team they have left at this point, and while it could be so much more, I just try to enjoy what actually is instead of lamenting how much greener the grass could be. Yeah, fair attitude. My hope is that they take the success of Space Marine 2, learn from the failures, or all of the little things players have been begging for, and make the ultimate Astartes experience in Space Marine 3. Yes, I agree. I mean, honestly, see, I've had this conversation before, but for the most part, they can't just leave Space Marine 2 as is. Like, they always have to keep improving it, because all that hype is going to spill over to Space Marine 3 and potentially also get greater, because a lot of people who experience Space Marine 2 are probably going to come back to Space Marine 3 for the campaign alone. At least I hope the devs are aware of that and want to make the campaign feel very, very large. I'm very curious to see how they're going to handle operations and PvP and stuff like that in Space Marine 3, but for now, let's see how they finish, right? Let's see how they finish Year 2, Space Marine 2. It's definitely going to solidify a lot of what we should expect for Space Marine 3. We will see. Ultimately, when it comes to Year 2, I'm definitely excited for the new mode and everything we're going to have, but I'm definitely hoping that the devs have something up their sleeves that maybe we wouldn't expect. Mainly something like a second new class or something would be pretty wild. But yeah, we talked about that. There's going to be, if there is a new class besides the Tech Marine, I genuinely think we're going to have so many classes in Space Marine 2. People are going to expect like 10 classes in Space Marine 3. They should save everything they can for Space Marine 3. It may end up being the end of Titus, or at least the end of Ultramarine-centric marketing, so it should go out with an absolute giant bang. This game could have more things, yes, but it has what it needs to be fun. Now, if they could helm Dawn of War 4 to really let other factions get some love, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be from a different dev team or something, right? I know they're doing like a remaster or something for Dawn of War, right? Either a remaster or remake, one of those. That would be kind of cool to experience. But yeah, as far as saving everything for 3, I don't know what they could save for 3 that would age into Space Marine 3. Like, anything they have already probably fits the atmosphere of Space Marine 2 perfectly fine, you know? So, as far as End of Titus, yeah, I'm expecting something insane for Space Marine 3. Unless they... Dude, even with the End of Titus, they could still do that and potentially set up something for Space Marine 4. No, seriously, though, I'm not too sure how long they're planning on doing this, but ultimately, Space Marine 3 is so far down the line, dude. That is definitely... It's kind of hard to, you know, theorize for that because of how far away it is. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want them to save anything. I think they should just do... Honestly, I think they should do what they can for Year 2 as much as they can, just so the hype goes into Space Marine 3, because if people see how well you take care of Space Marine 2, and not to mention if people saw how well the devs took care of problems in the past, I think that will also allow them to get more invested in Space Marine 3. It'll appeal to them more if they know the devs really care about it, or at the very least, the devs want to maintain it, which I think they've done. I think most of the issues we've dealt with in this game have been solved. It just every now and then old issues start to pop up here and there. And not to mention, sometimes you see things like stun locks and stuff like that. They can be pretty horrifying. Dude, oh man, like I've definitely been catching some stun locks recently that have been very frustrating. But it's been fine, honestly, overall. I've really been enjoying the new patch, and I'm definitely... I'm on the good side when it comes to the future of the game, Space Marine 3. I'm very optimistic for it, for sure. I like the drip-fed approach of new content. Wow, this is the first time I ever read that. It prolongs the game's lifespan. I mean, yeah, kind of. Look, here's the thing. If they just threw everything at us with Siege Mode, all of the chapter packs, I wouldn't really know what I was doing with all of that stuff. There'd just be a lot of stuff. There would be so much. Prestige 4, all of that. I mean, honestly, the Prestige system, that could have been there at launch. That would have been kind of cool. But Siege Mode, I think they needed some time with, for sure. And then other operations, I think they're probably still working on, to be completely honest. So, dude, I think they have some very cool... they have potential here to add in a lot of good operations. I mean, well, a lot as in 3. We have, as far as I know, when it comes to leaks, we saw 12 operations they have planned. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide for that. The license from the Games Workshop is very strict in terms of what the devs can add, but that's what keeps the game true to the source material, and that's why the game is a big success. I don't think we'll see new enemy species until Space Marine 3, but perhaps a few new enemy classes for Chaos and Tyranids will arrive in future patches. Yeah, did we have any leaks for new Tyranid enemies? I'm not too sure about that. Honestly, we got to keep an eye on that, because any sort of like new enemy, new weapon or whatever, that definitely gives us a hint of how long they plan to support the game. Like if there is going to be a new Tyranid boss or something, that either means it's an operation, or it has to be like an operation or something like that. I would like to see a siege mode expansion as well. I just don't know how they would how they would apply that. Or overall, I think siege mode could just use some fundamental improvements. We did talk about that earlier. Games Workshop being either the reason for the game's success or a detriment to the game's success has definitely been a discussion before. But yeah, I think overall, again, like they really did not expect this game to be as successful as it is. So, and I think with Space Marine 3, they're definitely going to be more hands-on, but I definitely think they're going to try to capture the opportunity and make sure that it can deliver more than what Space Marine 2 did. That's the aim for these companies all the time. Space Marine 2 sold 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, 8 million copies. They're trying to double that. They are going for double. So in order for them to do that, they have to do a lot of things right. So we will definitely see. I think year two is going to be a big indicator on how we should expect Space Marine 3 to go as far as post-content support. Because, again, if the devs just abandon Space Marine 2, then people who are going to pick up Space Marine 3 probably going to get wind of that and maybe double think their purchase or something like that. You know what I mean? So as long as the devs don't abandon the game, and as long as the game ends in a really good state, I think people are going to be more inclined to be a little bit more invested in Space Marine 3. I think if everyone, at the end of the day, if everyone enjoys their time in Space Marine 2, Space Marine 3 is definitely going to be something everyone's going to keep an eye on. Potential for like the new grindy game they want to play or whatever. But yeah, I think when it comes to year one, I think the devs did a great job with supporting the game, maintaining the game, making sure bugs were patched and everything like that. However, we obviously see new bugs here and there. We obviously see connection issues here and there. But they have listened to pretty much everything we suggested as far as balance goes, and not to mention as far as quality of life stuff is concerned as well. So I think the stun lock changes potentially need more time to really figure out. But I would like to see them kind of revisit that a little bit. But we will see. We will see. In Space Marine 3, maybe stun locks will also get an improvement in Space Marine 3 where they... I don't know how they could fix stun locks, to be completely honest, but maybe we could see more iframes or something. I don't know. Let me know in the comments though how you feel about year one Space Marine 2. Are you on the positive or the negative side for what to expect from year 3? Are you optimistic for year 3? And not to mention Space Marine 3, very far away. Sorry, did I say year 3? Yeah, year 2. Holy cow, guys. Sorry. But yeah, if you're optimistic for year 2, Space Marine 2, let me know in the comments. If you are a little bit worried about year 2, let me know why in the comments. Yes, and honestly, when it comes to Space Marine 3, that's probably far down the line. So let's see the devs finish off year 2 right, and then we will have a better idea on what to expect from Space Marine 3. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Thanks for watching.